Hey everybody, Stephen Bogren here from Pro Physique, and today I'm talking about what not to do in your bodybuilding journey.
My name is Steven, and this is our video about health and fitness things. And I work for Pro Physique, and I am just a guy with a fitness thing for you.
Hey everybody, so welcome back to the stash. We're gonna grow it back out for a little bit till the wedding. See if we can't get the curls back. I was told I can't keep it past the wedding or for the wedding, so we're gonna make the most out of it until then. But today I'm talking about a lot of bodybuilding don'ts. And I know that that's a very awkward, different thing because a lot of the times we're talking about things that we do want to focus on, things that we want to do, and really trying to keep things in a positive light. And when we immediately start talking about things that we don't want to do or things that we want to stay away from, it can get very easily for that to get pulled into that kind of negative context. And so I think it is important to understand that yes, these are things that I want to say stay away from and be aware of. But the reason I'm saying that is because I think there are things that a lot of us get kind of trapped in, that we get caught up in, that can really make a negative impact on us in the long term and as well our short term. So let's start off with, I think, the biggest thing that you don't want to get involved with or you don't want to get caught up in your bodybuilding journey, and that is the comparison game. Oof. And that's a really weird one to say because you're like, Steven, aren't you a competitive bodybuilder? Don't they compare you? Yes, I am, and yes, they do. However, that's not exactly what I mean. Really, what I'm talking about is this comparison game where it really equates to comparison being the thief of joy. And I'm sure most of us have heard that saying. And it really, really resonates with me watching people in the fitness space. Because so often we compare ourselves so much so to those people we see online, in the movies, on stage, whatever it may be, that we fail to see, we fail to really embrace and celebrate our own progresses. And that is something that we definitely want to avoid at all costs. Because if we cannot celebrate, if we cannot see the progress that we've made, that is a dangerous thing. Most of us get into fitness for some reason. Maybe it's you want to feel stronger, maybe it's that you're not as happy as you would like to be with where your physique is at. Maybe it has something to do with you just enjoy lifting weights, or it's kind of your personal you time. It doesn't necessarily matter why we get into it, but there are some considerations that I think are pretty prevalent in this space that we do want to be aware of. And I think oftentimes we think of this kind of like healthy versus loving our body, and maybe we see them as being one and the same. But I think that they are two things that can be completely independent of one another. Our goal is obviously to bring those together to where we're healthy, we're going to have a good quality life, we're going to be able to have independence for as long as we possibly can, and we also love our body for all the wonderful things that it can do. And the fitness lifestyle should really be about bringing those two things together. Oftentimes we can get into extremes for this fitness lifestyle, for the dieting stuff, for those kind of things. And that may be extreme things like trying to get extreme weight loss very quickly. It might be extreme things in terms of how much activity we're doing. But as with most other things, being extreme and being healthy don't tend to mix. They don't always coincide. So we do want to make sure that we are doing our best to make those coincide as much as possible. And understanding what that truly means for us in the long term. Making sure that we're doing the right things to not have to compare ourselves to what somebody else may be doing that puts us at risk. That comparison game, that is the biggest thing that we probably need to stop doing when it comes to our fitness journey. One of the other things we need to stop doing when it comes to our fitness journeys, and something that's going to hold us back from those goals, is we have to stop fighting the fact that we are going to have to change. For some of us in this fitness lifestyle, we have a lot of the things down already. It just is our identity. It is who we are. We're going to go to the gym. We're going to lift. We're going to eat vegetables and fruits and whatever it might be on a regular basis. And that's part of who we are. For a lot of us, particularly those who are just starting to get into it, We really have a hard time because we want to do everything all at once. And that's another thing we want to be aware of. You're not going to be able to become a different person overnight. So it's very important that we understand that yes, our habits will have to change. Yes, some of the things we do will probably have to change. We may even need to change some of the people we hang out with. As with anything else in life, when we're looking at self-betterment, we may not always have people around us that support and encourage us in those things. But we have to understand that there are going to be lifestyle things that we will need to stop. We are going to have to stop probably making the same food choices that we have made throughout the rest of our life. We are probably going to have to stop being maybe against exercise, or maybe stop sleeping in so much on the weekends if we want to prioritize our resistance training. We are probably going to have to stop drinking so much. This one is a really hard one for a lot of people because it is so entrenched in society. It's something that so many of us do, but it does not benefit us in terms of physique stuff, and it doesn't really benefit us as much in health either. So it's very important that we are understanding that some of our lifestyle habits are probably going to change, or they're going to need to change if our goal is to get to that level of fitness that maybe we are seeing that somebody else has and we want to embrace. We want to have that for ourselves. And so it doesn't mean that you might have to stop drinking altogether, but we have to be very aware, and we probably need to stop drinking as much. It doesn't mean that we have to stop eating something like Oreos or cake altogether, but we're going to have to stop eating as much for most of us. We're likely going to have to draw back our portion sizes and the regularity of how much we do with that. We are probably going to have to start eating more whole foods. We're probably going to have to start eating more lean proteins. Those things are very important. Now, for some of us with hard dieting histories, we maybe even need to stop dieting. We might need to focus on, instead of just restricting calories all the time, really working up towards a maintenance, doing it intelligently, doing it with intent, and then really focus on building muscle, making sure that we're paying attention to performance. So we may need to stop just looking at the scale all the time. The scale can be a good determinant of progress, and for some of us, it is absolutely an important one and one we do need to focus on. However, we may not be getting the full picture by only looking at the scale, particularly for those of us who are newer to lifting and exercise. If maybe we've led a pretty sedentary lifestyle, we don't necessarily need to only look at the scale, because you will be putting on muscle much faster. And we also have to stop thinking that it's just weight loss that gives us maybe the look that we are desiring. Understanding that yes, we all have our own physiology, we all have our own bone structure, our own insertions and origins, and we're all going to look different. We're all going to have our own look. But understanding we can obviously have more muscle or less muscle, and more often than not, at least at this point in time, the people who we are looking at who have those physiques that we admire, that we like, that really catch our eyes, they have more muscle. So understanding that we might need to really focus on building muscle, improving performance, finding exercises, finding activities that we enjoy doing, and improving those things instead of maybe just looking at the scale and only trying to diet and lose weight. So there were a couple yes starts in there, but mostly things that we want to watch out for. And so I challenge you to change your thinking, or at least challenge your thinking, and challenge some of the things that you've been doing. See if there's any of those kind of stops. Maybe treat them as even a yellow light, and maybe slow down and start really looking at those things and how they're either benefiting you or maybe not so much. But I'll leave it there for today. I hope you all have a great one, and I'll talk to you soon.